State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce is in focus now. Congratulations. I have not seen you since you got that post. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Madame. Thank you.
Let's get the total picture now, which includes some really angry, I don't know, what is the point of Democrats behaving the way that they have been, and now with these special guests that they're bringing? Your take.
Well, look, Americans made a statement last year during the election. They wanted Donald Trump. They wanted what he represents. He is a deal maker. He loves the country. He wants action. He knows how to get things done. He wants Americans to be safe, prosperous, and more secure. That is a nonpartisan argument. It is something Americans across the board want, and they made that statement. And now we've got it. It is a remarkable transformation of this country after 6 weeks. The president has made it clear what he stands for. But this is, Harris, a whole of government reaction. I happen to work for the State Department and our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. The president has chosen a team for the cabinet that understands what the American people want and can make it happen. So part of that dynamic, of course, is safety abroad, dealing with terrorists, arguing and making peace happen, bringing back, Harris, these very basic ideas that everyone benefits from if you've got loved ones in the military, if you want a future you can count on for your families. Donald Trump's vision makes that happen, but it's not just an idea. As you know, tonight you're going to hear what you have to do to make that happen. As a business person, you can get ideas, but you have to implement them. And as a leader, it is the same framework. And of course, everyone in the cabinet, every department, whatever it is America needs to be doing is following that visionary lead and implementing it accordingly.
All right. I want to ask you about what you would like to hear from the president tonight, because being at the State Department, there are a lot of things now that concern you. I mean, this blow up between Ukraine and really Ukraine against the world at this point, because its president was representing its people, didn't get a deal done that would have benefited them. You've got that cooking. You have Israel now saying they want a new ceasefire. Hamas isn't keeping its end of the deal up, so they pulled back aid in Gaza, Israel has. So you've got that cooking along, too. Your thoughts?
Well, look, this is a renewal of the peace through strength dynamic. We learned about that, of course, with President Reagan. The fact is that the bad guys around the world are not going to suddenly turn into good guys when we're dealing with a group like Hamas. And our allies understand this. What is beneficial for both our allies and our enemies is to know that America is back, that Donald Trump doesn't play games, that when we have a dynamic like with President Zelenskyy, it was very unfortunate. He knew exactly what was happening and what was needed, and yet he decided to do something else in the midst of the Oval Office. And that kind of disrespect for the nation, for both the president and vice president, is unacceptable. And yet, the commitment remains. There is a very distinct focus by the president and this administration for peace to prevail. And I think now, of course, there's still an open door for this to be renewed, for this to take place for President Zelenskyy on behalf of his country. But when it comes to the world in general, people understand, especially like with the border, that our partners understand that this is going to happen. We've got a president who means business and is going to take action to make it all happen. So it's a very exciting time.
No doubt. I would anticipate, and I'd mentioned before we had you on just moments ago, that the border would be in focus for them tonight. I would think all of everybody in the chamber, all of America, and then with the president speaking. This is just happening, and it's something that we could hear about tonight as well, Tammy. The Trump administration is looking at what is next and next steps with Ukraine and what those steps will be after last week's tense dust-up in the Oval Office. The White House has temporarily paused military aid to Ukraine until that country's leaders prove a commitment to reaching peace. So much of what our spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, for the State Department, was just talking about, who wants peace in this deal? Trump does. And the president strongly pushing Ukraine's President Zelenskyy now to change his tune.
I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal.
Vice President J.D. Vance earlier today.
It's important that everybody come to the table, and the president is trying to send a very explicit message. The Ukrainians have got to come to the table and start negotiating with President Trump.
All right. And Tammy, I want to get to this because it's part of the story that broke just moments ago. We wanted to get this up on screen so everybody could see it together. It looks like President Zelenskyy may be listening and that President Trump is having some success with his pressure campaign. Zelenskyy has just posted this: "Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war." Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. Tammy, you and I are having a similar reaction right now. Tell me yours.
Well, look, this is the result of leadership. Some people operate through rhetoric and antics, and then there is the continuum of the powerful nature of rhetoric asking for something that everyone wants, which is peace. We have a great leader in President Trump, and of course, I would argue the best diplomat in the world, to say the least, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This is the end result of what happens when you make it clear to someone that there is one way to move forward, and it's not a controversial way. It's about peace and saving lives of people that have gone through so much carnage and so much pain. It's great news, but it happens because President Trump remains focused and steady, and his arguments work, and that's what we're seeing right now.
All right. The State Department spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, good to have you on the program. Can't wait for you to come back, and you were here with me for that breaking news. Thank you. Yeah.